For the two-time defending champion Los Angeles Lakers, it is on to the second round on a beautiful 74-degree night. Southern California, the usual sellout crowd, better than 19,000, still making their way into the Staples Center for Game 1 of the best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal series. The Dallas Mavericks, the Los Angeles Lakers, meeting for the first time in the postseason since back in 1988, when Steve was a mere child, or perhaps just a child, not a mere child.
College senior, actually, but we see where you're going with this.
Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr. We'll be joined momentarily by Cheryl Miller working the sideline. Let's get right to it. How do you break it down? What are you looking for tonight?
Well, the Dirk versus Powell matchup is fascinating. Each player is going to have a really difficult time guarding the other, so we'll see how that plays out. Dallas has to rebound, Marvin. If the Lakers get second chance opportunities and extra possessions, the Mavericks are in big trouble. And then I think Dallas's bench has to be key in this series. Jason Terry needs to score, Barea, Stojakovic. If the Mavericks can get points from those guys, then they can stay in the game. They'll have a chance for Dirk to close it out in the fourth quarter.
All right, let's check out the starting lineups presented by Budweiser. And as you'd expect, Dirk Nowitzki, the major concern for the Lakers. He's up front with Sean Marion and Tyson Chandler. The backcourt to Sean Stevenson and Jason Kidd. For the Lakers, with Pau Gasol, Ron Artest, and Andrew Bynum on that front line. Bynum had a terrific series against New Orleans. At the guards, Derek Fisher and Kobe Bryant still playing through that sprained left ankle in Game 6 against the Hornets. Despite the ankle problems, 30 minutes, 24 points, 3 steals for Kobe. 13 of his 24 coming in the third quarter to help the Lakers pull away. You see the officiating crew: Steve Javie, Bob Delaney, Michael Smith, talking earlier with Phil Jackson about Kobe's sprained left ankle. Kobe, of course, keeps saying it's fine. Phil says that's not exactly the case, still affecting him, and Phil worried about his rhythm throughout the game.
Well, they haven't played in 4 days, and he said during the regular season, Kobe really didn't practice much at all at any point in the season. But when they had 4 or 5 days off, he usually struggled. Phil said he hopes Kobe can get the rust off in the first half.
Dallas opens with Sean Stevenson defending on Bryant. Artest with the step on Marion. Artest, and it's tipped to Marion. So here come the Mavericks in their first possession with Kidd handling against Fisher. Marion played by Artest. Stevenson. And Artest lets it carry out of bounds.
Interesting, Dallas went right to Stevenson off a pick, trying to make Kobe work defensively. Stevenson not likely to play a lot in this series, but he's going to be asked to start and really defend Kobe to start with. So any points they get from him, really gravy. Kind of surprising to see Dallas go to him early on.
Here's Bynum going at Chandler. Gasol with the rebound. Bryant open for 3, passed, and then hits the 2.
Now that's what we talked about in the open, Marv, the extra possessions for the Lakers. And Rick Carlisle's been talking about that all week long. If the Lakers get the extra possessions and those easy points, second chance opportunities, Mavericks are in trouble.
Dallas 57-25 in the regular season opening round of the playoffs. They knocked off the Blazers in 6. They wrapped up the series Thursday night at Portland. Nowitzki over Gasol.
Well, Pau Gasol doesn't guard anybody like Dirk all season long. Almost always Gasol finds himself down on the low block defensively. So for him to chase a big shooter like Dirk all over the floor, that's a tough assignment.
Bryant with another open shot, and that's a 3.
Well, I guess he shook off the rust. That didn't take long. 2 for 2 already.
He was out here earlier, about 3 hours prior to the start of the game, shooting around, just making sure that he is accustomed to the court here at Staples. Marion not able to hit, and back comes Bryant. Pulls it up for 3. Back tap, and another possession for the Lakers. Bryant inside.
Well, the first shot was not a good one, even though he had made two. You see where the Lakers' advantage is. It's going inside to Gasol and Bynum, and then playing off of those two.
Kobe with all 7 Laker points. Nowitzki, beautiful fadeaway on Gasol.
He is ridiculous. He is so good. And I don't know if there's ever been a player like him in NBA history.
Oh, Gasol right back. We're talking about a 7-footer who has terrific range in the closeout game in Portland. Dirk, 33 points, 11 rebounds. Chandler missing on that outside shot.
I heard Charles Barkley earlier today say that there's nobody in the world who can guard Dirk Nowitzki, and I agree with that. The only guy I can think of who was similar, was Larry Bird.
Here's Bryant for 3. Kid with a nice lead. Chandler. Bynum is on the loose ball.
Now the question for me coming into this series, Marv, is can Dallas score enough? We know Dirk's going to get his 25 or 30 every night as Gasol lines up the 12-footer and misses. But Dallas has to get scoring from other people. And look at this starting lineup. You know, Marion's going to score some in transition and inside. Kidd may make an open jump shot, but this is an easy cover for the Lakers at this point.
Nice setup, and Chandler able to hit on the reverse. Marion with the assist. Tyson Chandler, a local product out of Compton. A lot of family and friends still in the area. Bynum spinning his way on Chandler, rebounded by Nowitzki. In fact, Tyson said not a good thing to have that many family and friends because of the ticket requests. He says his wife is handling that, does not want to deal with it. Nowitzki tied up by Artest. It'll be a jump ball.
Well, here's the bucket from Chandler, the great feed from Shawn Marion. And Chandler, to me, is the difference with this Dallas club. And he's the reason why a lot of people, myself included, feel like this is the best Mavericks team of the Dirk Nowitzki era. Chandler's so good covering the rim. He had 13 offensive rebounds in Game 5 against Portland, 20 overall. Dallas has never had a guy like him during this past decade who can defend the paint the way he does.
You mentioned the 13 on the offensive glass, the most offensive rebounds in a playoff game since Shaquille O'Neal had 14 back in 1995 when he was with Orlando. Nice setup again for Chandler. This time it's Kidd with the flip for Chandler, and the Laker lead is now 1.
And that's where Chandler will score. And if you're a New Orleans Hornets fan, that looks familiar right there. That may as well have been Chris Paul to Chandler several years ago. So whether it's Paul or Kidd, Chandler's the kind of guy who can position himself for a lob and take advantage.
Bryant. Stevenson did a good job defending on Kobe, and here is Stevenson for 3, rebounded by Bynum. Just about halfway through this first quarter. Game 1 of the best of 7. Gasol gives it right back. Here's Fisher for 3. Derek Fisher, who as usual has picked it up in the postseason. Numbers always get better. In the series against New Orleans, he averaged 9 points, 3 assists, played very well defensively against Chris Paul. The Lakers with a 12-8 lead. Timeout is called. Here's a look at Kobe Bryant warming up along with the Laker girls early on.
And the warm-ups apparently worked because he knocked down his first 2 jump shots of the game. Also added this little floating jump hook. Kobe off to the quick start. Lakers up 4.
Cheryl Miller. Cheryl.
Oh, thanks a lot. Marvelous. Well, I spoke to several players from each team, and they all agree that this series could be determined by bench production. I spoke to Jason Terry, who was the 2009 Sixth Man of the Year, and he says our bench has been our strength all season long, and whoever outperforms the other's bench could be the determining factor. Now, Lamar Odom, this year's Sixth Man of the Year, said the Lakers reserve must ante up. It's going to be critical, guys.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. And one of those bench players, Peja Stojakovic, who just checked in, coming on for Sean Marion, able to hit for the Mavs. So the Lakers now lead it 12-10. Lakers remain the same following the timeout. As you see those bench numbers, Gasol over Nowitzki.
Well, Dirk is going to have a much tougher time defensively in this series than he did in the last one. He spent most of that time against Portland guarding Marcus Camby and Chris Johnson, just playing off of them as he knocks down the jumper. But at the same time, Pau Gasol also going to have a much more difficult time defensively in this series. So both guys will be challenged by each other.
Nowitzki hitting on his first 3 shots. He has 6 points. Gasol with some room. Yes. Little duel going on here at the start between Gasol and Nowitzki.
What's going to be interesting, Marv, is once one of them leaves the court, then the matchups start. And I think matchups in this series are going to be so interesting. And Dallas has a lot of problems with their matchups coming off the bench. You know, here's Gasol knocking down the shot, and he's off to a nice start after that first-round struggle. But Marv, when Dallas comes in with its bench, you know, they're going to have matchup problems across the board, whether it's guarding Kobe or Odom or Bynum. And I think so much of this series will depend on the ability of the bench for Dallas, not only to score, but to match up defensively.
Marion has come on now for Nowitzki. Here is Stevenson, who's missed his first 3 shots. Lamar Odom checking in for Pau Gasol. So Gasol sits down after hitting 3 of 4. Bryant posting. Yes. What a start for Kobe Bryant. That's his 4th field goal. He has 9 points. Kidd getting it out to Stojakovic for 3. Peja Stojakovic signed by Dallas following a buyout by the Toronto Raptors, a 3-time All-Star and a member of the Sacramento Kings. Had some big years with Sacramento. Bryant with a beautiful move, and then he's stripped. Here comes Kidd. 3-on-1. The lead for Stojakovic, not able to handle it. Artest flips it ahead. Bryant puts the move on Stevenson. Here is Kobe, blocked from behind, and he's fouled. And that ankle looking pretty good here at the start.
That looks fantastic. Kobe has just started off so smoothly. Here's the fadeaway to the baseline. And then he had the crowd buzzing here with that move on Stevenson, but Marion comes over, makes a terrific play. And Marv, we talked about it. Phil Jackson was so concerned about that ankle and the lack of practice time the last 4 days, but obviously Kobe unaffected.
Foul was called on Stevenson. A programming reminder, join the resistance from TNT and DreamWorks Television. Falling Skies series premiere June the 19th at 9, 8 Central, only on TNT. Jason Terry checking in for Dallas. They have a backcourt of Terry and Kidd with Stojakovic, Chandler, and Marion on the front line. The Lakers, incidentally, have home court advantage in this series by taking the season series against Dallas 2-1. And the Lakers have won 10 of the last 13 meetings overall against the Mavs. Kidd for 3. Oh, he had the touch first couple of games of the previous series against the Blazers.
Well, here's where the matchups begin, Marv, because with Stevenson going to the bench, Terry comes out. So now Terry's going to guard Fisher, but across the board, you've got some interesting matchups as Odom gets a second chance but can't convert.
Stojakovic met by Bryant. Kidd being played here by Artest. Terry is open for a rainbow 3.
And you just can't get caught if you're Derek Fisher. You can't get caught on the penetration when you're guarding Jason Terry, especially in the corner. That's such an easy shot for Terry. And Lakers with several defensive breakdowns here. But give Dallas credit. Their offensive execution has been terrific.
Dallas with the lead for the first time. 2.5 remaining in this first quarter. Kidd. You know, when you consider their great success and the longevity of their careers, Bryant this time off the back of the rim. Surprisingly, it's the first time Kobe Bryant and Dirk Nowitzki have met in the postseason. Chandler not able to convert on that lob. Not that they'd be matched against each other. Bryant putting a move on Marion. Called for a palming violation, says the outside official, Bob Delaney. Timeout taken as we come up on 2 minutes to play in this first quarter.
Well, Dallas picking up its game offensively. Jason Kidd knocking down the long three, and then off the Kidd penetration, Jason Terry makes his first shot. The Mavericks on a run.
They've got to run. We've got to run. They're trotting into the game. They're feeling their way out. Hey, we got to push our tempo.
Well, Jason Kidd got the message. The last few possessions, he's really pushed the ball, and that's led to some open shots. And I think Rick Carlisle knows, Marv, if this becomes a half-court battle, the Lakers have the edge. So Dallas has to find shots, and they're more likely to find them in transition for guys like Terry and Stojakovic.
Marion with the runner. Dallas in the midst of a 9-1 run on three-pointers by Stojakovic, Kidd, and Terry. Nice move again by Bryant. And then strip. Kidd with the steal. Marion has Terry on the wing, and Terry hits the jumper.
Now, Marion is such a good player in transition, Marvin. He got so much practice in Phoenix playing with the Suns all those years, but his ability to catch the ball and either finish or pass it to an open shooter, pretty impressive.
Gasol is back and gets it inside. Odom was hacked. Lakers have a new backcourt. Steve Blake, Shannon Brown have checked in for Phil Jackson. Brendan Haywood will come on now for Tyson Chandler. Want to know how Kobe performs when Powell is on the floor as opposed to when he is not? Well, Steve, as you know, you can dig into NBA stats like never before with NBA Stats Cube only on NBA.com.
You can really pry. Well, I mean, you can dig in, even probe.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really get in there.
Extensively. J.J. Barea checks in, coming on for Peja Stojakovic. Phil Jackson saying he's concerned about Barea, who started slowly in the series against Portland and then came on.
Well, he's the kind of guy who can really hurt the Laker defense. Over the years, the Lakers have been susceptible to quick penetrating guards, and Barea has the ability to get past his man at any point. And he's an important player in this series.
Terry lost it. Brown with the steal. Can he keep it alive? No. Try to save it. Stepped out. So the ball back to Dallas.
Well, almost a terrific play here from Brown, who makes the steal but just can't quite come up with the ball. And Marv, we talked about the importance of the respective benches in this series. The Lakers bench has struggled the last month. Brown has been in a shooting slump. Blake had the chicken pox. Barnes has been hurt. Marion with the putback.
Barea firing it up from three-point range with the shot clock running down. So the Mavs now lead by 4. Final minute of this first quarter. Game 2 of our playoff doubleheader. Atlanta taking game 1 in Chicago. Nice pass. Matt Barnes cannot convert and then does on the follow.
Well, I started to mention the bench. I think Blake and Barnes and Brown, I think the killer bees, as they call them, I think these guys have to start playing better than they did in the last few weeks of the season, particularly against this strong Dallas bench.
Nowitzki just returned, getting it over to Barea for 3. Rebounded by Odom. 2-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Steve Blake, who's made it back from the chicken box. Chicken pox is what he said. Shot clock is down to 5. That's one you don't usually hear on the injury report. Here is Blake for 3. And that's the end of the first quarter. Here at Staples in LA, 25-23 Dallas as the Mavericks end the quarter on a 10-4 run.
three. It's now time for the Four Coaches Corner. And joining me is Rick Carlisle. And Coach, you said before the game rebounding was going to be a key issue. Did you guys do a good job on the boards?
Well, I haven't seen the totals, but I know they got a couple of second chance opportunities. Their length is going to be a challenge for anybody that plays them. We got to make sure we're checking out first and then going and getting the ball.
I know that Jason Kidd told me before the game that you guys wanted to be opportunistic in your transition. Would you like the game to be forced a little more, pushing the ball up the floor?
Well, make or miss, we got to get it in and we got to run. And we've got to push tempo as much as we can. If their defense gets set, they're very, very difficult to score against.
Thanks, Coach.
Second quarter underway, and that was last touched by Dallas. So Matt Barnes will throw it in.
Our Lakers bring Andrew Bynum back into the game. He was 0 for 2 in that first quarter, and other than the one post-up that he had against Chandler, LA really didn't look to go into him, and I think that's probably something Phil Jackson talked about at the quarter. I think they've got to go inside to Bynum and try to establish his postgame.
Bynum goes inside for Odom. So Andrew Bynum, who had a very strong opening round series against New Orleans, has not done it in the scoring column, but another nice pass from Bynum. Nowitzki over Odom. Quick release by Dirk Nowitzki. He's 4 of 5 for 8 points.
Quick release, 7 feet tall, and the release is from behind his head. So even if you're Lamar Odom and you're 6'10" with long arms, you still can't challenge that shot.
Barnes, Bynum, and Odom on the front line. Brown and Blake in the backcourt. That is waved off, will not count. It's a 3-second violation on the Lakers.
We'll take a look at the post-up from Odom. Marion was trying to front him, and the great recognition from Bynum. I'm so impressed with Bynum's passing skills. Between he and Gasol, I mean, this team has such great interior passing. How about Memphis with the Grizzlies with Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph? Another great tandem in terms of passing the ball in the post.
Jason Terry making it 3 of 3 from the field, and Dallas turning it up with a 29-25 lead. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Cheryl Miller. But Staples in LA. Bad pass recovered by Brown. Got a lucky bounce there.
Sure did. Marion had read the play, made the steal, but tried to flick the ball back to a teammate. And Brown takes advantage of the mistake.
Barea saved by Terry. Terry able to elude Blake. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Barea for 3. Yes. J.J. Barea from downtown. The Mavericks now lead at 32-27.
And they're gaining confidence as this game goes on, Marv. They've got the Laker defense spread out now.
Won't count. Offensive foul on Matt Barnes.
Looked like Barnes had a layup. He goes back to the right hand here with the ball and pushes off with the left arm. Not a lot of contact, but when the officials see that action right there, that's a good call because he had Dirk's left arm and shielded it, and you can't do that. Great call by the official.
They double up on Marion, and it paid off. Off the trap. That pass thrown away.
Just the third turnover for Dallas with 11 assists on 14 field goals. So their offensive execution, which really is their strength as a team, it's been really solid here so far despite that turnover there.
Brown getting in the lane. Another Laker turnover. Good ball movement here by the Lakers, and now they stop as Barea looks to set up. Marion. Terry is open in the corner. Back comes Shannon Brown. Beautiful crossover. Scores going right at the 7-footer Brendan Hayward.
Lakers not a great transition team. In fact, they're at the bottom of the league in terms of fast break points. But once Brown gets going in the open court, he's explosive.
They clear it out for Nowitzki. Oh, that's a difficult shot.
Sure is.
Twisting his way.
Off the wrong foot, fading away, and it still looked like it was going in.
4 minutes gone by in the second. Odom rejected by Haywood, so the Lakers will put it in play with 7 on the 24. First, a timeout.
Now, it's been a fluid game offensively. Lakers with a few turnovers here lately, but for the most part, pretty clean game for both sides. Brown there taking it length to.
Studded, Justin Timberlake, Will Ferrell, and John C. Riley. January Jones from Mad Men. And yes, Jack.
Of course. Always have to finish with Jack.
He's our closer.
Yeah, that's right.
7 on the shot clock for the Lakers. Nice touch pass, Gasol to Bynum.
That was fantastic. What a pass from Gasol and that Laker big man tandem working together. Beautiful execution on that out of bounds play.
Bynum with his first field goal. It's a 1-point lead for Dallas. They double up on Terry. Good help there from Gasol. Haywood. Crowd wanted a traveling violation.
I'll tell you what, Haywood has given this team some good minutes. He was given that big extension in the offseason before Dallas had traded for Tyson Chandler. The Mavs expected Haywood to be their starting center, but he hasn't played much this year. It's been a subpar season, but as a backup center, as long as you don't mind paying him $11 million a year, he's effective.
Out of favor for a period during the season.
Yeah, and struggled with that backup role. Look at this pass from Gasol, just beautiful execution. And here's the pick, and then the switch, and Dirk gets knocked off balance, and that's why Bynum is open. But yeah, to get back to Haywood, you know, his relegation to the second unit was tough for him. Brown misses, but what he's given this team is a second rim-protecting 7-footer defensively. So Dallas in good shape at that end of the floor.
Oh, what a move by Barea, and then he's stripped. He was able to slash his way through. Bynum working on Haywood. Knew he had to get rid of the basketball. Would have been a 3-second violation. Here comes Terry, putting a move on Barnes and a foul. Jason Terry and Matt Barnes, well acquainted from an incident.
Yes, they are.
They had Matt Barnes involved in somewhat of a disagreement with the Mavericks in the Lakers' last regular season meeting, and ended up being ejected and suspended for a game. Jason Terry was involved in it as Barnes stepped in with Steve Blake and Terry going at each other. Barnes ended up pushing assistant coach Terry Stotts to try to break things up. As we take a look at the series schedule, game 2 here Wednesday in LA, and we'll have it for you on TNT Friday at Dallas, and then Sunday at Dallas. Those games on ESPN and ABC. Mavs with their first free throws in the game.
And that's not uncommon when you play the Lakers. They're among the best in the league. In fact, they're #1 in the league in fewest fouls. Another great feed from Gasol. And Marv, that's going to be a challenge for Dallas throughout this series, trying to find easy points. They'll get some in transition, but getting to the free throw line, very difficult against this Laker defense.
So Rick Carlisle calls for time. 6:15 left in this first half. Mavericks now have a 3-point lead. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT. Dallas and LA as Jason Terry shoves Steve Blake to the ground. He did not like that. They're pushing and shoving. Matt Barnes and Steve Blake and the Mavs, Jason Terry, Brendan Haywood all ejected from the game. Then there's Barnes. Did not like that assistant coach Terry Stotts had grabbed him. Stotts went down, led to Barnes being ejected. You know, back in the first round of the playoffs between the Lakers and the Hornets, Monty Williams complaining that the Lakers were too physical. Phil Jackson kind of pleased that they were called physical, because they've been called at times during the season soft or questioned. As Nowitzki is fouled.
Similar to yesterday, Miami was very physical with Boston. Doc Rivers complained afterwards about some of the cheap shots. I think it was kind of the same dynamic. Miami was probably thrilled to be called dirty. Over the years, that's been, you know, Boston has been the team that's supposed to be the aggressor. But the interesting thing after that incident, was Barnes was very vocal, and he talked about Dirk Nowitzki. He called him out. He said, you know, in 2007, when I was with the Warriors, we gave the blueprint on how to guard Dirk. He said, you got to punk him. And I don't know if that's quite going to work. I think Dirk has gotten better the last couple of years in terms of, you know, dealing with that physical defense. He's figured out ways to get to the foul line and get back to the basket game as well.
Strong move by Lamar Odom. Matt Barnes on that Golden State team, coached by Don Nelson after he had left Dallas, and they came up with that playoff upset over the Mavs.
They had a physical team. You know, they had, when they would switch, you know, they would have with guards, they'd have Baron Davis guarding Dirk, so they really got underneath Dirk. But I think he adjusted and made a lot of strides since that series.
3-point Maverick lead. Kobe Bryant back on the floor. Front line of Gasol with Artest and Odom, Bryant and Fisher in the backcourt. Here is Gasol. Block. Nice play by Chandler. Able to reach around for the rejection.
Fantastic defense from Chandler. That's what he's there for.
Nowitzki rimming out, and Fisher with the save. Just under 5 remaining first half. Game 1 of this best of 7 Western Conference semifinal series. The fadeaway by Bryant.
Wow. Most impressive part of that move, Marv, was how he got to that spot on the floor in the first place. Just his ball handling skills, amazing.
12 points for Kobe Bryant. Nowitzki getting inside. He thought it was fouled, no call.
And that's why it's so difficult to score on LA in the paint. The length of Gasol forcing that tough shot from Nowitzki.
Artest. Nowitzki with the rebound. Terry trying to get it to Nowitzki. Here's Fisher. And he thought he was hit. Terry with Bryant back. Jason Terry has had the touch. 4 of 5 for the field. He's the high point man for the Mavericks with 11. And Phil Jackson wants to talk.
Well, another nice play from Chandler. He didn't get the shot block, but he forced the miss that led to that fast break hoop for Jason Terry. But at the other end, look at the work, the hesitation, the footwork through the legs, and then up and over the top of the 7-foot Chandler. That's incredible.
When you see these war veterans come back, some of them are wounded, seeing them and seeing what they did for our country and being able to go over and touch them and see the joy and the excitement that they get, that right there, it touches you, you know, because they don't have to do it. It was their choice to serve our country. We're forever indebted to them, and we thank them.
Jason Terry off to a fast start tonight. 4 of 5, 11 points. Had a huge game 6 in the finale against the Trailblazers. Bryant over Kidd and rebounded by Chandler. Rick Carlisle telling us that we'll see Jason Kidd defending on Kobe Bryant from time to time. In the past, he's done a pretty good job against Bryant.
Well, he has to guard him because Jason Terry needs to be on the floor for Dallas. His Kidd can't make the 3, but if Kidd and Terry are going to play in the backcourt, One of them has to guard Bryant, and it has to be Jason Kidd. He can match up physically. Terry just too small for Kobe.
Here's Bryant going right at Kidd, has to pop it out. They swing it. Bryant. Rebounded by Gasol.
Now there's the second chance we talked about, and that's a 10-2 advantage now for the Lakers in that department. And that's the reason the Lakers are who they are. The size, the length. They get extra possessions.
Dallas up by 1. Shot clock down to 5. Terry eluding Fisher.
You just can't lose him. You know, you've got to make somebody else make a shot. And of course, if you're Dallas, you've got Peja on the floor. But you can't rotate that far off Jason Terry. So the Lakers trying to pick their poison here.
Gasol setting the pick. Kidd able to stay with Bryant. Odom wheeling inside and hits. Nice bank hook shot by Lamar Odom. And a timeout is taken by Dallas.
Now, Rick Carlisle gave Dirk Nowitzki a little breather there for a couple of minutes, but he wants to get him on the floor for these last 2 minutes, and that's why he called the 22nd timeout. Shot. Dallas runs a pick and roll with Chandler, and Derek Fisher cheats in to help on the rolling Chandler. And Jason Kidd with a beautiful cross-court pass. Fisher with too much room to make up. Fisher has to stunt just a little bit, but trust that a teammate will handle Chandler inside.
And Nowitzki is back on the floor. Again, the good ball movement. 3 on the shot clock, Nowitzki. And here come the Lakers. Fisher putting moves on Terry. Yes, and the foul. And that's a rare foul. It's been a quick moving first half. Only the 7th foul combined on the Lakers and the Mavs.
Well, this is kind of a step in the time machine for Derek Fisher. He used to do more of this as a younger player, but he takes advantage of that opening in transition and knocks down a shot. And as usual, Marv, Fisher playing above and beyond what he was in the regular season here in the playoffs.
And words between Tyson Chandler and it appears Paul Gasol, Bob Delaney getting between the two, and it appears a double technical has been called. Bob Delaney, who has announced that he's retiring at the end of the season, 25 years as an official. Here's another look off this rainbow free throw. I thought I was going to hit the ceiling here at the Staples. There it is, starting right there between Chandler and Gasol.
Well, and then there were words back and forth, and obviously the double technical doesn't mean anything point-wise, but what it does mean is that both players have to be very careful the rest of the game. They don't want to end up like Paul Pierce yesterday in the Boston game. You pick up a second one and you get ejected, of course.
Chandler and Gasol hit with the technicals. Coming up on a minute to play in this first half, and a foul is called.
Well, the league has been really vigilant about this all season. If there's any kind of chattering between two players, it's pretty much an automatic double technical.
Foul at the other end on Kidd. So that puts Bryant at the line with Dallas over the limit. Right here, let's send it to our Atlanta studios. Matt Weiner. Matt. All right, Matt, how about Joe Johnson of the Hawks? 34 points, 5 of 5 from beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, and for Chicago, wow, tough loss. Derrick Rose goes down with that ankle injury on a meaningless last-second play. So immediately the Hawks throwing the first blow in that series.
7-0 run by the Lakers. Marion And the outside official, Bob Delaney, with the call. Game 1 has seen some surprises throughout the playoffs. The call is on Tyson Chandler. A loose ball foul. And with the Mavs over the limit once again, Lakers to the line.
And what's significant here is that the Spurs and the Magic lost those series. So Game 1, and Phil Jackson talked about this week, Marv. Game 1 really sets the tone in every series. You're kind of getting a feel for your opponent, but you want to throw that first blow. You want to establish what you're trying to do. I don't think either team has really done so here so far. But Game 1 sets the tone. You want to get that victory, get off to a good start. And I don't know what the percentage is. You know, we always talk about percentages of, you know, winning the series when you win the first game. It's pretty significant.
You think so? Why? I mean, it's a percentage.
It's like 70% though, right? I mean, it's
still that doesn't mean in that the next particular game or in that series a team would not come back, say 30% of the time.
Okay, but it's still 70%. I mean, I don't know why, but it's just the way it is.
But a coach will throw that away, obviously.
Well, yeah, especially if you're on the losing end of it. Yeah.
Artest saving that pass, and then flips it out to Fisher. Here's Derek again on the drive. The Lakers have taken a 7-point lead. Dallas will hold for a final possession. And the Lakers had a foul to give.
Derek Fisher with 8 points already. And that's pretty significant because when he scores, the Lakers tend to win. When he's been in double figures this year, they're 18-1. And usually that's because teams are double teaming the big man and he's getting open looks on the outside. But you don't expect him to get all the way to the rim twice like we've seen in the last couple of minutes.
Out of 5 seconds. Nowitzki battling to get inside. He had missed his previous 5 shots after opening 4 of 5. Here is Odom. Oh, a foul is called on Jason Terry, and it's in the act. It'll be 3 free throws for Lamar Odom.
Wow, that's an incredible call. A gutsy call from Bob Delaney. I believe they're going to go look at the replay to see when the foul was called, because if it was after the buzzer, then obviously it won't count. Let's take a look. Jason Terry's just too close right here. There's no reason to be anywhere near Odom. And then he reaches in, and I think he got him. I think that's a good call. It's a better angle here. No question. Jason Terry fouls him 70 feet from the hoop.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question that it will be called a foul. You can't make a judgment on a video replay in terms of the foul, but as you say, they're looking at the clock.
Yeah.
Now you want the defender to play the opposing player close, but not that close.
No. And you definitely don't want to reach in. I mean, that's ridiculous. Jason Terry knows better than that. He's a smart player. He's a veteran player, but sometimes in the playoffs, you're so pumped up. You know, you just want to be extra aggressive. But that was a major mental error from Jason Terry.
Lamar Odom, 68% free throw shooter during the season.
And the officials will determine that the foul did happen before the clock ran out. Now what they're going to do is figure out how much time to put back on the clock as these free throws are taken. And all Terry had to do was just back up. He was in perfect position. That's, you know, what are the chances of Odom making that shot? I mean,
and they're putting 3/10 of a second back. Looked like it was 3/10. Right now they have 7/10. Well, they made it 0.7. So Odom to the line, and he will have 3 free throws.
Jason Terry talking to Bob Delaney now, and there's really nothing to complain about. I mean, I think Jason is more embarrassed than anything.
And I started to mention before, Bob Delaney retiring at the end of the season. There's Bob, over the years one of the NBA's premier officials. Tonight is 150th playoff game. He's been in 10 NBA Finals, 2 All-Star games, one-time New Jersey State Trooper with a storied background that he captured in a recent autobiography.
He's lived an interesting life, hasn't he? And a terrific official. He's been doing this at a high level for a long time.
So Odom, a technical foul. Technical foul call.
Is it on Chandler or is it on Dirk?
Well, if it's on Chandler, he's out because he had one earlier in that double tech. Let's see. Might be Dirk.
I think it was on Dirk, Mark.
Now they're saying Dirk Nowitzki.
Well, how about this close to the quarter for the Mavericks? I mean, Odom's getting ready to just throw up a meaningless 70-foot shot. He gets fouled, and Dirk swung the elbow on Artest. That's why the technical. So you get 3 free throws from Odom, 1 from Kobe, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point lead for the Lakers. Just a horrible end to this quarter for the Mavericks.
0.6 of a second remaining in the half. The Lakers in the midst of a 14-2 run and have their biggest lead of the night. A bizarre finish to this first half. 14-2 spurt over the last 2 minutes of play. Halftime at Staples. It's the Lakers 53, the Mavericks 44. After a quick break, we'll send it to Atlanta for the T-Mobile halftime report with Matt Wider, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Chris Webber. Lakers open up an 11-point lead. Stevenson and Kidd in the backcourt. Nowitzki up front with Chandler and Marion. Bad pass. Fisher is on it. Another Dallas turnover. Kobe Bryant, who came out firing away at the start. Pass intended for Bynum and a foul as Bynum was pushed.
Well, with this starting lineup, Marv, for Dallas, you've got Stevenson on the floor, so not a whole lot of floor spacing. He's really out there for defensive purposes. And this is an easy lineup for LA to guard. And Dallas has to be careful here. I mean, they start this lineup for defensive purposes, but if they turn the ball over and allow the Lakers to score easily, Dallas will have to go to its bench quickly.
Nice pass from Artest to set it up for Gasol. So you go back to the end of the second quarter. It is now an 18-2 run by the Lakers. Stevenson picked off by Fisher. Bryant for 3. Yes! Early timeout taken by Rick Carlisle.
Well, as bad as that close to the first half was, the start of the second half has been even worse for Dallas, and the Lakers taking advantage. Beautiful two-man game between Artest and Gasol. Kobe taking advantage of another Maverick turnover, and the Lakers race out to a 16-point lead.
Time for Cold Hard Facts presented by Coors Light.
And these are cold hard facts if you're the Mavericks, because these are tough numbers to look at. Remember the 2-0 series lead against Miami. They had a 13-point lead in Game 3 with 6 minutes to go. And they lost that game and 3 more consecutive games, and it seems like there's been a cloud hanging over this team ever since as far as the postseason is concerned.
Well, Dallas has advanced past the first round for only the second time the last 5 years. That is rejected. Marion spinning out. Kept alive, another possession for the Mavs. Corey Brewer, who signed as a free agent with the Mavs back in early March, has checked in following that timeout, and a foul is called on the Lakers. 21-2 run now by the Lakers. Bynum on the foul. Dallas with 3 turnovers in 3 consecutive possessions to get things going here in the third quarter.
And Marv, Carlisle is going with Brewer because of his defensive size, as Nowitzki knocks down the jumper and is fouled by Gasol. But Rick Carlisle did not want to go to Jason Terry this early in the quarter. That would have altered his normal rotation pattern, and it would have put a smaller guard on Kobe Bryant this early in the quarter. Here's Dirk knocking down the jumper. Didn't look like much contact, but Gasol called for the foul.
Corey Brewer in his 5th year out of the University of Florida. Started the season with the T-Wolves, part of that 3-team trade involving Carmelo Anthony. And then Brewer was waived by the Knicks and played in 13 games with Dallas during the regular season. 3-point play for Nowitzki, so the Lakers now lead it by 13. We're early third quarter. Bynum on a post-up. Andrew Bynum, who had a stellar first-round series. Here's Chandler beating the Lakers down court and scores.
Looked like maybe there was some contact from Andrew Bynum there. Chandler wanted the foul, did not get it. And Marv, we saw that Bynum post-up a minute ago. We see it again. I thought we'd see more of this in the second quarter. Looks like the Lakers are trying to establish him now down on the block.
Chest backing his way. Kidd got a piece of it. Jason Kidd's so good at reaching in or reaching around. Nice play. Marion from Nowitzki, and now the Mavericks showing some signs. They cut the lead down to 11.
And that's the problem if you're the Lakers. Poor offensive execution ends up in a turnover, and that's when Dallas is really going to be at its best in this series, when they can get out and run.
Open shot for Fisher. Nowitzki with the rebound. Lakers have led by as many as 16 off that 21-2 spurt. Kidd for 3. Yes. Jason Kidd, who was hitting the 3 over the first couple of games against Portland. In fact, in game 1, hit 6 of 10 from three-point land. 6 3-pointers, a playoff career high in the illustrious career of Jason Kidd. And Dallas able to answer the Lakers. They are now in the midst of a 10-2 run. The foul is on Brewer, a non-shooting foul.
You know, Marv, I think Kidd and Derek Fisher are really happy with the way this series has panned out matchup-wise. They're happy to be guarding each other and not chasing Tony Parker or Chris Paul around.
Kobe Bryant. Yes, not dealing with speed point guards.
It really wears those guys down. And I think there's a reason Jason Kidd was really good offensively against Portland. You know, he didn't have to chase around a smaller penetrating guard. He didn't get tired.
Bryant came up with that steal, played by Fisher. Kobe guarded here by Marion. Off the fake. Marion able to recover. Bryant. Nowitzki able to grab it. Here's Marion in the open floor. Finds Brewer. Nicely done by Marion.
Well, remember we heard Rick Carlisle talking in the timeout in the first quarter. He said, guys, we have to run. And the only way to run is to defend and either force a tough shot like that one from Kobe or force a turnover. Dallas finding a little pace here now to its game.
Artest using the pick. Good box out by Nowitzki.
I just don't like this. Go inside. I mean, you had success with Bynum and Gasol inside. Artest now getting a little happy offensively.
Marion. Kidd gets it to Chandler. Marion had the shot blocked. Gasol try to set the pick. And they do go inside. Foul is called. It's Chandler. Got Bynum from behind.
And that's what the Lakers have to do, because now the game slows down. Instead, when you take long contested shots, this is what happens. Fast break opportunities where Dallas can score before that Laker defense can set up.
Second foul on Chandler. Here comes Stojakovic for Marion. Marion just 2 of 9 from the field. Does have 4 assists. The Laker lead is down to 8 as we come up on 6.5 remaining. Third quarter. Gasol lost it. Brewer can't get to it. It'll be Laker ball.
Well, Lakers tried to go into Gasol, but Brewer made the nice play, digging down on his big man, but if you're Gasol, you've got to get better position. He was posted up almost at the elbow. You got to get Dirk Nowitzki down on the block.
Gasol on the hop, looking for Artest. Another Laker turnover. Crowd thought that the Kid lost it. They're looking for a double dribble. Nowitzki with room. Yes. Dirk Nowitzki with 17 points. The lead is down to 6.
Kind of a familiar theme for Laker fans. All year long, it's been like this. Every time it looks like the Lakers are going to pull away, they make some silly mistakes and let their opponent right back in it.
Artest for 3. Artest now 1 of 6 from the field. Dallas with a 14-4 run. Kidd able to make the turn. Brewer. That's a 3-pointer. Timeout Lakers. Corey Brewer off the bench and has made a contribution. Dallas with a 17-4 spurt.
Well, Dirk on the pick and roll, that's automatic. No Laker defender anywhere near him. And then how about Corey Brewer, Marv? He played 4 minutes total in the first round series victory over Portland. He's come in and given his team a lift.
Time 1988 Western Conference Finals. Lakers beating the Mavs in 7 games. The home team winning every game of the series. James Worthy averaged better than 23 a game to lead the Lakers. Magic Johnson 19 and 14 assists. Mark Aguirre just under 25 points a game for the Mavs. And then the Lakers went on to beat Detroit in 7. Some familiar names on the rosters of the Mavs and the Lakers.
Yeah, a lot of talent. And isn't it amazing that these two teams have not met in the last decade? Dallas, in fact, has won 50-plus games 11 straight years. Kobe lines it up and knocks down the jumper. So Dallas has been in the playoffs 11 straight years. Lakers 10 out of those 11. And during those 11 years, the Lakers have won the Western Conference 6 times. So you'd figure at some point these two teams would have run into each other. It's remarkable that they haven't.
Bryant, Brewer getting involved. Foul is on Bryant. Lakers open up the third quarter on a 7-0 run. That's the second foul on Bryant. 21-2 overall. They led by as many as 16. Mavericks have responded with a 17-6 run. Shot clock is down to 5. Brewer, nice pass. Chandler from Brewer. How about Brewer, who hit a 3 a moment ago? Brewer during the regular season, a 27% shooter from three-point land.
I'm still amazed that New York just bought Brewer out. I mean, given everything that they went through with that trade with Denver, as Artest misses another one. How did New York not find room for Corey Brewer, who's an excellent defender, and as he's shown here, a capable offensive performer.
Crowd reacting to the shooting of Artest. Chandler gets inside, and he is fouled. Tyson Chandler looking to go to the reverse, and he was hacked. Gasol on the foul. Chandler to the line for Pau Gasol, his first. A programming reminder, join the resistance from TNT and DreamWorks Television. Falling Skies, the season premiere. June 19th at 9/8 Central, only on TNT. Tyson Chandler, a 73% free throw shooter. He has been injury hit throughout his career. Remember, the Hornets traded him to Oklahoma City a couple of years back, but deal was rescinded after he took the physical.
And he spent the last couple of years in Charlotte, where he was good but not great. And I think the key for him coming here to Dallas, playing with Jason Kidd, we talked about it in the first half. When Chandler can play with a guy like Chris Paul in New Orleans or Kidd here, he's so much better offensively because he's so long. He can just go up and catch and finish.
Bryant. Little jab stepped and pulled it back and able to hit over Brewer.
Meanwhile, Dirk Nowitzki gets a rest here, Marv. Brewer lines up another three.
Oh, he's feeling it.
A little quick on that one, probably.
Gasol. Chandler reaching over for the rebound, deflected, and Mavericks able to control.
Dallas doing a much better job on the boards here in the third quarter.
Oh, a dangerous pass thrown by Kidd, who was picked off by Artest. Bryant with 24 points, 9 of the 24 here in the third. Fires for 3. Well, Kobe has that look.
He does, and he loves moments like these. When the other team makes a run, it's almost like he's hoping it happens so that he can take over again.
Shooting over the 6'9" Brewer. Sean Marion will just check back in. Marion with 6 points. 71-66. Lakers up as we approach 2 minutes to play in the third. They clean it out for Bryant, and it is a blocking foul on Brewer.
I don't know if there's anybody in the league who has better footwork than Kobe Bryant. He gets in that triple threat position, and look how he has Brewer on his heels. Back and forth, just rocking until he can find his shooting rhythm. There's the second one from three-point land. Kobe Bryant so fundamentally sound, and that's why he's been able to maintain this incredibly high level of play despite the wear and tear on his body.
Both teams making changes. Matt Barnes, Steve Blake have come on. Peja Stojakovic back along with Jason Terry for Dallas. Now Marion on Bryant.
Nice job by Marion, and you can see just the length of Sean Marion just bothered Kobe a little bit. Marion bigger and stronger than Corey Brewer.
Brewer sitting down. Oh, there's a block by Bryant. Brewer instrumental in that surge by Dallas. Here comes Kobe. Odom slapped away, recovered though by the Lakers. Bryant head fakes, and then he is stripped. Marion ahead of the field and lays it in.
How about the play from Jason Terry? Looked like Kobe was going to have a wide open shot. And Dallas, I think they're falling into a little 2-3 zone here. Now they go back to the man.
Carlisle saying it's very tough to play zone against the Lakers.
Now they torched it every time they saw it this year. Kobe from deep.
Another 3 for Kobe Bryant. He has 30 points breaking out here in the third quarter. That lob intended for Chandler.
Chandler tied up underneath the hoop, 5-on-4.
Bryant for 3. Here's Terry ahead of the field. Bryant races back. Nice play. Stojakovic. Odom unleashes to Barnes. Here come the Lakers. 3-on-1. Barnes to Gasol, and he's fouled.
What a bizarre sequence there. While Chandler was tied up behind the cameraman for about 2 possessions. And then at the other end, after the missed shot from Stojakovic, Barnes missed a wide open Gasol. Never saw him because Gasol had never gotten back defensively either. Crazy play.
Chandler being stretched. The athletic trainer Casey Smith working on Tyson Chandler.
And he falls over the cameraman, and then he laid in that spot for 2 possessions. He's getting stretched now. You wonder if it's cramps. That's usually the case when you see a trainer stretching a player out like that.
It's been a sensational third quarter for Kobe Bryant. Overall, he has 4 3-pointers, 3 of the 4 here in the third. We're down to a half minute to go in the quarter. J.J. Barea, who just came on, hits a 3.
Big shot there from Barea, Marv. It looked like that Laker lead was going to climb up to double digits again. And that one's going to stem the tide here. If they can get a stop here going into the fourth quarter, the Mavs have to feel pretty good about things.
About a second and a half differential between the game clock and shot clock. Lakers up by 5. Shot clock to 5. Barnes. The tip missed by Gasol. Gasol right back, and he's fouled. Hayward try to brace the fall. Brendan Hayward called on the foul. That'll send Gasol to the line with 0.7 of a second left in the third.
Well, when we talked to Phil Jackson before the game, he said, we're not worried about Dirk. We know he's going to get his. It's everybody else we're worried about. And that means closing out on Barea and Terry. They're trying to send Terry to the left. They want to keep Sean Marion off the glass. And they've done a pretty nice job for the most part in this game. But a couple of times, Barea and Terry have shaken free for jump shots, and I think that's one of the reasons Dallas has managed to kind of stay in this game.
So that is the end of the third. The Lakers have a 78-71 lead. Kobe Bryant leading the way with 15 of his 30 in this third quarter.
Phil Jackson and Coach, despite the 30 points by Kobe Bryant, how has the Mavs managed to stay in this game?
They're just making great plays. You know, Barea hit a great three-pointer just a second ago to end the quarter. And they came back and upped the tempo when we got the lead and got it right back in order.
From an offensive standpoint, would you like to see better ball movement?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of stand around, a lot of isolations.
Thanks, Coach.
Fourth quarter is underway. Lakers in possession. Shot clock down to 2. Brown. Gonna fire one up with the clock running out. Lakers have led by as many as 16. They had that 21-2 run between the second and third quarter. Dallas able to turn it. Came back, outscoring the Lakers 20-6. And they came within 2. It is now a 7-point Laker lead. Nowitzki on a fadeaway.
Unguardable. I mean, just bailing his team out of a bad offensive possession where they had no advantages anywhere. And Dirk off that 1 foot, just incredible.
19 points, 10 rebounds for Nowitzki. Kobe Bryant getting a rest, sitting it out. After scoring 15 of his 30 in the third quarter, Odom able to keep it alive. They get the new 24. Odom.
Well, it's going to be interesting here, Marv, with Kobe and Gasol on the bench and Fisher. The Lakers' second unit has to do a nice job here offensively, but where are they going to find their points?
Stojakovic hitting from downtown. It brings Dallas within 2. The Mavs bench continues to make major contributions.
Probably their biggest advantage in this matchup.
Bynum over Hayward.
Nice job defensively from Haywood, and he's got the size and length to bother Bynum on the block.
Bynum's been quiet to this point. Here's Stojakovic. Again, a 3-point attempt. Rebounded by Odom. Barnes able to leak out and score. Nice lead pass. Lakers lead by 4. A Dallas team that won 57-25 in the regular season, finishing as the 3rd seed behind the Spurs and the Lakers. Lakers also won 57, so by virtue of the season series, Lakers taking it 2-1, they get the home court advantage. Nowitzki had it knocked out of his hand. And a foul as Hayward slows down the 3-on-2. Dallas started out at 24-5. They fell off in January and then won 18 of 19, as you see the strip leading to the Laker possession. So similar to the Lakers, they had a down period. Lakers then able to turn things with 17 wins in 18 games.
And Dallas's downturn came when Dirk Nowitzki went down with a knee injury.
And without Dirk, they went 2-7 during that stretch. Here's Nowitzki from downtown. The Laker lead is 1.
Now this little stretch here with the Laker bench on the court has not been very good for the Lakers.
Bynum rejected and fouled by Haywood. Bynum fouled on the act. He will shoot 2. After we take a break, timeout is taken.
Now Dirk Nowitzki, probably the greatest shooting big man in NBA history, knocking down the long-range 3, and the Mavericks are within 1.
And the Mavericks' first-round win over the Blazers. Dirk showing off his clutch play by dominating the fourth quarter in 3 of the Mavericks' wins. And for the series, he averaged straight over 10 points in the fourth quarter.
Shot 35 free throws in those collective fourth quarters in that series. You look at the numbers on the season. How about that? You've got 2 of the top 4 fourth quarter scorers in the entire league on your team. So Terry and Nowitzki obviously huge here down the stretch of this game. But more of the reason Dallas is back in the game is the rebounding and the defense in the second half has improved dramatically. Lakers still with a big advantage in points in the paint, but most of those points inside in the first half came on penetration from Lamar Odom and from Derek Fisher. Dallas has handled that here in the second half. They've kept the Lakers out of the lane, and meanwhile Chandler and Haywood doing a nice job on Bynum and Gasol.
And here in the fourth, Nowitzki has hit his first 2 shots. He's 4 of 5 from the field. In the half, he has 22 points in all. Terry, who, as we just showed you, also pretty fair score in the fourth quarter.
Sure is, and he's so good going right. And you saw Blake trying his best to get him back going in the other direction. Jason Terry not very good at all going left, but Dallas really designs its offense to get him moving to the right side of the floor.
This is Shannon Brown. Good box out by Brendan Haywood. Dallas with a chance to take the lead. Nowitzki.
Boy, he got fouled, Marv. He's complaining to Steve Javie. They missed one there.
Nice pass from Barnes. It counts as a foul. Shannon Brown from Matt Barnes.
That is just so frustrating if you're Rick Carlisle, because at one end, Dirk gets hacked across the wrist, no call, and at the other, same kind of play. Watch this right here. Shannon Brown comes down with that right hand, gets his hand on Dirk's wrist, no call, and then at the other end, Brown ends up with the bucket and the foul. Big sequence there.
Shannon Brown, a player who hit 91% of his free throws during the regular season, although did not go to the line frequently. Shot clock to 5. Barea with the step on Blake and scores, and Blake took a shot to the chin.
What a move by Barea. Somehow getting to the rim and finishing with that left hand. Impressive.
Dallas within a point again. 5 minutes gone by in the fourth. Bynum willing in. Try to bank it. It'll be Dallas ball.
Watch this move, Marvin. Bynum loses sight on the weak side, and as a result, he's not there to protect the rim for Blake. And Barea with a spectacular finish.
Barea sets it up for Nowitzki. Terry for 3. Odom. Oh, what a move. On a reverse. Stop the step. He's given the Lakers a 3-point advantage, and a timeout is called.
And meanwhile, Phil Jackson, ever so patient, still has Kobe Bryant on the bench, allowing this second unit for the Lakers to try to hang on to this lead, and Odom, using his quickness to get around Dirk. NBA playoff history, Phil Jackson, I'll bet if you went down to like the top 20, it would be Phil Jackson and just about everybody. I'm probably in there somewhere. I mean,
that's true. Yes.
Hey, you know, if you're with Phil Jackson, you probably won a lot of playoff games. I'll bet Luke Walton is on that list.
Are you ripping into our research staff once again?
I'm just saying Phil Jackson has won a lot of playoff games. That's all.
Stojakovic off balance, and Kobe Bryant has checked back in. So Phil and Kobe in the hip pocket. Although it's a close game, but now coming up on 6 minutes remaining, I would think that would bring a flashback to you the way Phil would use Michael Jordan in Chicago.
Yeah, no question. I've never seen a coach who would trust his bench more than Phil as Kobe knocks down the jumper, but who would keep his stars on the bench for longer stretches. And it was all about building trust. He used to do it with Michael Jordan. In fact, some of us sometimes would kind of look over while we were on the court and say, hey, Phil, shouldn't you put Michael back in for me? It's about time. We want to win this game, don't we?
Shot clock to 5. With 2 on the 24, Terry came up short, rebounded by Gasol. It was also that final series against Portland where he stayed with his bench.
Remember that? They were down about 15 going into the fourth quarter, and he played Bobby Hansen, Stacey King. I think he sat Michael for about 6 or 7 minutes.
Odom, oh, nice move, able to adjust as he went at Stojakovic. The Lakers now lead at 90-85. Timeout Dallas with 5:05 remaining in the fourth.
Well, and the advantage of sitting your star like this, Marv, is that he's going to be fresher down the stretch. Kobe coming off that ankle injury, looking fresh, and so is Lamar Odom. Lakers by 5.
We'll have it for you on TNT. Then the scene will swing over to Dallas Friday night on ESPN, and then Sunday on ABC.
Lamar, if you look at the series ahead, and the margin for error is much smaller for Dallas than it is for the Lakers. They've played pretty well here tonight. I mean, they're shooting 49%. They've only turned it over 11 times. Dirk has had a terrific game. They've got 28 assists now. So they've played a really good game. But the problem is, you know, the late stretch at the end of the second quarter, the start of the third, those two spells have really hurt this Mavericks team.
Lakers with a 3-point edge. Bryant, 4-3. The tip missed by Artest and rebounded by Chandler. Nowitzki played by Odom. Nowitzki.
I don't know how that stayed out.
Dirk now 10 of 19 for his 24 points. Bryant off the head fake. Chandler got a piece of it. Here comes Terry. Fisher back. Terry on the pull-up. Nowitzki able to reach for it. Nowitzki. Looked like Odom got a piece of it. Nowitzki thought it was fouled. Bryant played by Terry on a switch.
I don't know why Odom didn't throw the ball inside to Gasol.
Here is Bryant. Yes.
That's why. He wanted to get it to Kobe. Can't blame him.
34 points for Kobe Bryant. Kid making the turn. Foul is called on Fisher.
Now with the shot clock running down, how many times have we seen this tonight? The triple threat position, rocking his defender back on his heels. And Kobe just fearless in the fourth quarter.
Only the first team foul on the Lakers. The alley-oop for Chandler. Jason Kidd with his 10th assist, setting it up for Tyson Chandler. The Laker lead down to 3 with 3 minutes to play in the fourth.
Lakers going with Odom and Gasol, a familiar sight late in games. Andrew Bynum on the bench. This is their closing lineup.
Dallas coming from 16 points down. Kidd now defending on Bryant. Kobe way off on that shot. Here comes Kidd.
How great is this, Mark? We've got two of the best closers on earth going head-to-head in game one, Dirk and Kobe.
Fisher looking to help out on Nowitzki. Nowitzki swings away from Odom, trying to go glass, rebounded by Gasol. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the fourth, and Derek Fisher takes the timeout.
Marv, Dallas has just hung in this game with a lot of great playmaking, as Phil Jackson told Cheryl at the end of the quarter. And look at that pass from Kidd to Chandler. Great effort by the Mavericks.
And it may come down to two of the best closers in the NBA.
Yeah, it's going to be a great duel down the stretch. Both these guys having terrific nights. And defensively, the Lakers, you've got 3 fouls to give. Actually, it'll only be 2 in the last 2 minutes. But look for Odom or Gasol to be very aggressive with Dirk Nowitzki at the defensive end.
Shot clock down to 3. Fisher has to fling it. Rebounded by Odom. And they have a new shot clock. They clear it out for Gasol. Working on Chandler. Gasol stopped by Chandler.
Bad possession there. That's not an advantage for the Lakers. Chandler really long. He can bother that shot. Lakers have to go get the ball back to Kobe in that situation.
Minute and a half remaining in the fourth. Now the ball in the hands of Nowitzki, but had to give it up. Here's Marion. It is a 1-point Laker lead.
Unselfish Dallas offense. Neither Terry nor Nowitzki rushed anything. They spread that Laker defense out, and they found Marion.
Mavericks keep coming. They've cut the deficit to 2 twice, to 1 5 times after trailing by as many as 16. The shot clock at 6. Bryant to the fade. Yes! 94-91. Lakers final minute of the fourth. Nowitzki working on Odom. Nowitzki. Yes.
Wow. The strength of Dirk Nowitzki just driving Odom off of him and leaning back with that one-footed fadeaway.
35 seconds to go in the fourth.
Will Dallas double team? They haven't doubled Kobe all night. Will they bring it now?
Bryant played by Kidd. Here is Bryant. Picked off by Terry. And a foul committed by Fisher. For Dallas, their 4th team foul. They had a foul to give.
Well, Dallas was very aggressive. Jason Kidd really bodied Kobe on that play, knowing that they had a foul to give.
I should say Lakers with their 4th team foul.
Well, a duel, Marv, between, as you mentioned, the 2 best closers in the NBA, or 2 of them anyway. Kobe at one end, Dirk at the other, and the Mavs with a chance to win. The difference with this Mavericks team this year, Tyson Chandler, look at him right there, thwarting the drive from Kobe, forcing the pass that leads to the turnover. Kobe upset, and now Marv, the Mavericks with a chance to take the lead.
And the question here is, how do the Mavericks play it? Obviously you want to score to take the lead, but you don't want to leave too much time on the clock for the Lakers.
Yeah, but I think the main thing is getting a good shot. If they can take the lead and count on getting a stop, they're confident that they can do so. But the ball's got to go through Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry. I would look for a 2-man game with those guys.
Dallas has 1 timeout left. They have a 20. Lakers have a full and 2 20s. Next foul puts the Lakers over the limit.
Very interesting, Mark. Phil Jackson going with Pau Gasol to guard Nowitzki. Now, in general, Lamar Odom has done a better job over the years against Nowitzki. But Phil Jackson on the biggest possession of the game, and I'm not sure what he's talking to Steve Javie about. He's calling it 22nd.
Apparently, he was looking to make another substitution, and now uses a timeout.
Okay. So he has to use the timeout in order to make the substitution that he wants. And I'm amazed, Marv, that he's going to go with Gasol on Dirk Nowitzki.
All right, going back to the Steve Kerr 3 points that we set up at the start of the night.
Well, the key, or the second two, I mean, the rebound margin has really whittled down since the first half when the Lakers had the big edge. The bench play, we expected Dallas to have the edge there. And Dirk has been terrific. Gasol has been solid, but not spectacular. But, you know, here we are, and this is exactly the position the Mavericks wanted to be in. Mark, just a chance to win and a chance for Dirk Nowitzki to take over.
So Artest checks in. That's the substitution that he was looking to make. And Steve Javie in a discussion with Phil Jackson.
Looks like they're in a dispute. It's almost as if Phil wants to bring Odom back in the game. And here comes Bynum now. So who's Bynum going to guard? This is really interesting because Dallas has a very small lineup on the floor. They've got 4 guards and Dirk Nowitzki, and they're going to put Andrew Bynum on Dirk. No, now the Lakers are totally confused, and so am I at this point. Okay, Bynum is going to guard the ball, but there's 20 seconds left, so he's going to guard Jason Kidd.
Bynum on the inbounds as Kidd gets it into Nowitzki, and he's fouled by Gasol. The Lakers over the limit, and Nowitzki will go to the line.
Wow. Well, you can't be that aggressive if you're Gasol. You're coming out of timeout. You know the foul situation, and watch them get tangled up here. Dirk on the left side of your screen. You're not going to quite be able to see it. He's very aggressive. Dirk sells it right here, and just that bump, and that's enough to send Dirk Nowitzki to the line, one of the great foul shooters in the NBA.
89% during the regular season, 89% in the series against Portland. And gets the very friendly roll. So he's 4 for 4 tonight, and the game is tied. Dallas has taken a 1-point lead. Timeout is taken here by the Lakers. 19 and 5/10 seconds remaining. We'll be right back.
Over the years have liked to go to Bynum, or excuse me, to Bryant in a pick and roll situation with Pau Gasol. But we'll see how they play it. Ideally, they'd like to get Tyson Chandler away from the hoop if possible. And if you put Gasol in a pick and roll out on the perimeter, that can accomplish that feat.
First time Dallas has led since early second quarter. Down to 10 seconds. Kidd reaching over, call for the foul, but they had that foul to give. So now the Lakers will put it in play with 8 and 8/10 of a second remaining.
They do have a timeout left if they choose to use one.
Artest will throw in. 1-point lead for the Mavericks. Down to 5. Gasol had a knockaway stolen by Kidd, and a foul called on the Lakers. Jason Kidd with the steal has the quick hands going. We've seen it all night long. We've seen it all career long.
This is a play the Lakers have run for years. In fact, the Bulls used to run it all the time. Jason Kidd with the aggressive defense. And if you're a Laker fan, you're saying if it was a foul at one end on Powell, why not a foul on Kidd there? But it looked like Kobe just got his feet tangled up.
Kidd on the line for the first time tonight. And he shot 88% at the line during the season, although went to the line only 77 times.
Lakers with the timeout, Marv, so made or missed. They're going to call it here.
Dallas up 96-94. And the Lakers now use their final timeout.
Well, take a look. Kidd and Kobe get tangled up here, but it looks like incidental contact. It leads to the turnover. Kobe frustrated, but he's going to get another chance out of this timeout.
Steve Javi, well, he was trying to make a substitution, so the Lakers do have one timeout remaining if they have difficulty on this inbounds pass with 3 seconds, 3.1 to be precise, remaining and a 2-point Dallas lead.
Dallas trying to figure out who's going to guard the inbounder. Originally they had Dirk Nowitzki, but now they've switched back to Jason Terry. So Derek Fisher will have a passing angle here. Not much size on it.
All right, here comes Kobe. Kobe for 3. Rebound is slapped by Terry, and that's it. The Dallas Mavericks have defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1 here at Staples in L.A. A dramatic come-from-behind victory for the visiting Mavericks, down by as many as 16 despite 36 points for Kobe Bryant. The Mavericks come up with the win.
I thought the key stretch, Marv, was the beginning of the fourth quarter. The Lakers seemed to have control of the game. But Dallas got back in it with their bench. And then Kobe at the end has a wide open look right on the back iron. He thought it was good. It looked good from our angle right here, all the way tracking just a couple inches long. And the Dallas Mavericks, what a gutsy win here to open this series.
So Dallas ends the game on a 10-2 run. Mark Cuban enjoying the moment. Over the last 3 minutes, they outscore the Lakers 10-2 and come away with the 2-point win. Let's go to Cheryl.
Well, Dirk, certainly the Lakers had their chances to put you guys away, but just talk about your composure, especially in the second half.
Yeah, I thought we started the third quarter really sloppy, made mistake after mistake, turned the ball over, and obviously a veteran team like that is going to make you pay. So Kobe was unbelievable today, on fire from everywhere, and we did a good job staying in there. We talked about in the huddle, stay with it, keep plugging, get some stops finally, and I thought down the stretch we executed really well.
All season long, your bench has been absolutely sensational. Talk about their production tonight.
Yeah, we feel like they're one of the best benches in this league. They come in, they give us energy, they give us scoring with Jason Terry. Stojakovic made some big shots today. Brewer actually hasn't been in rotation, comes out of nowhere, stays ready to play, and gives it a big boost, and Hayward battle in the paint. So we feel like we got one of the best benches in the league, and they came through today.
You guys obviously want to be greedy for Game 2. What will it take?
More of the same. More get some stops, don't turn the ball over, and rebound. I think we did a decent job in the glass, and if we hold our own on the glass, we should be in a good chance.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Marvelous.
All right, Cheryl, standout game once again for Dirk Nowitzki, 28 points and 14 rebounds. A couple of controversial plays at the end of this one.
Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki going over the back Gasol going over the back of Dirk Nowitzki at one end, and then the trip from Kidd, although, I don't think that's a foul, Marvin. And I think the first one was questionable, but I do believe that Gasol was way too aggressive, and you can't put yourself in that position.
And for Dallas, a road victory. They've certainly had their difficulties during the postseason on the road. In fact, that win in Portland to wind up the series against the Blazers stopped an 8-game road losing streak in the playoffs for the Mavs.
And I think that Portland series got the Mavericks ready for the Lakers. It was very physical. They had to show their mettle, and coming back after blowing Game 4 in Portland, and the Blazers tied that series. Dallas really showing some grit and toughness here, Marvin. This was a great win for them tonight.
Thanks to our producer, Scott Cockerill, our director, Renardo Lowe, statistician, Paul Evans. The final score, the Mavericks coming back from a 16-point deficit to defeat the Lakers here in L.A. 96-94 in Game 1 of the best of 7. For Steve Kerr, Cheryl Miller, and the rest of our TNT crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from Staples Center. Coming up, it's Inside the NBA. You've been watching the NBA on TNT, exclusive home of the 2011 Eastern Conference Finals. Now to Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studios.